India beats Australia by 31 runs on day 5 in Adelaide, with Cheteshwar Pujara getting the Man of the Match award. Kohli becomes the first Asian captain to win tests in Australia, England and South Africa. Khelo India Games are back, and this time they will be called the Khelo India Youth Games. Pune to host the second edition of the Games from January 9th next year. Four quarter-final spots taken and 4 left in the Hockey World Cup will be decided with the crossover matches that begin today. England begins its clash with New Zealand, while France will face China later today. And Germany makes it 3 out of 3 wins to top Group D and seals the last 8th spot in the 14th Hockey World Cup. The Netherlands thrashes Pakistan 5-1, but Pakistan manages to reach the crossover stage ahead of Malaysia on goal difference. Our top story: India recorded its first test win on Australian soil in a decade on Monday in Adelaide to win the first test match of the series down under for the first time ever, in fact. Despite Australia's impressive lower order resistance, India managed to sneak past the line by 31 runs as the hosts were dismissed for 291. Cheteshwar Pujara was declared the man of the match for his sedate but classy knocks of 123 and 71 runs in both the innings that made all the difference.
India pulled off a stunning 31-run win over Australia to register their first victory in a test down under in 10 years. The last time India defeated Australia at home was back in 2008 in Perth. This is also the visitors' first victory in Adelaide since 2003. Ravichandran Ashwin, who took 3 wickets in the final innings, put the final nail in Australia's coffin to end the host's admirable rearguard action. Australia resumed the final day needing another 219 runs for victory with 4 wickets down, but lost their last 2 specialist batsmen before lunch. Shifting the odds heavily in India's favour, Shaun Marsh, who was 31 not out at stumps on day 4, scored his 9th test half-century but fell for 60 to a brilliant Jasprit Bumrah. Tim Paine also showed some fight on the final day, but Bumrah was again at hand to dismiss the Australian captain for 41 and put India on the brink. However, Stark and Cummins added 41 runs for 8th wicket to give the host a glimmer of hope. Mohammad Shami broke the partnership to give India the crucial breakthrough, but it was then the turn of Leon and Cummins to test Indian bowlers. However, Bumrah got Cummins to edge a delivery to Virat Kohli at slips, who after taking the catch threw the ball down hard at the ground. Leon and Hazlewood strung together a 32-run stand for the final wicket as Australia started dreaming of an unlikely victory. However, Ashwin dashed the home side's hope with a flighted delivery, finding the edge of Hazlewood's bat. India now take the momentum into the second test in Perth. Sports Desk, DD News.
And Indian skipper Virat Kohli said that his team's victory in the first test match against Australia was a good platform for the team to build on and secure a breakthrough win in the series down under. Kohli said that it was a great feeling to take a lead in this test series opener in Australia, but he's demanded more from the players. He's urged them to capitalize on the positives from Adelaide. Meanwhile, the opposite side's captain, Tim Paine, has felt that on a pitch that presented few demons, only 2 home batsmen managed to score above 50 runs in this match, with the majority of the victims falling due to poor shot selection.
Well, it's 4 years back it was 48 runs, but the other side, and this one is way better, 33 runs, but on the other side of the result. So obviously it's a great feeling. We've never taken a lead in a series in Australia, so something that for us is a huge boost, and it's given us the right momentum that we needed to play a big series like this.
I think it's a real belief. We didn't play our best cricket, but there's some things to take from this game that I thought we did well, and some things that we can improve on. But I think it's as we thought it was going to be. It's going to be a really tight Test series, and I think we take a little bit from today.
And Anil Thomas now joins us with his take on what happened down under in Adelaide. Well, Anil, it was a little closer than India would have hoped for, isn't it, in this match? What do you think was the difference between the two sides?
Well, good evening, Mark. Many anticipated that India would get a 50-plus run win in the opening test match in Adelaide. But, full marks to Virat Kohli. If you look at this test match, look at it from two perspectives. India lost 4 wickets with less than 50 on board. Then to come back and win the test match with 31 runs there. That's not all. India went to this test match with just purely 4 bowlers there to lead that attack with that Kokobura ball. So, having said that, I would say full marks to Virat Kohli and the way the bowlers delivered. But the big plus or the big takeaway is the batsmen delivering. Remember the trips to the toss to South Africa as well as England. The bowlers always did the goods for you. They always got you those wickets. But it is the batsmen that let you down. And somewhere at the start of this series, in the first innings, Cheteshwar Pujara, in the second to Cheteshwar clicked. Ajinkya coming good in the second innings. Clearly, the batsmen have delivered, and that's why we are 1-0 up in this particular test series.
Right, but Anil, one area of concern would be that India were 303 for 6 and 307 all out. And just look at what Australia were. Australia were 163 something for 6, and they went on to hit 291. So this tail is a matter of concern for India, the tail not producing enough runs.
Well, if you look at that first innings, give it a flip. Look at the first innings. Your tail did click in the first innings. You had good partnerships there from 7, 8, 9, 10 there in the first innings. Yes, I agree that in the second, Indian batsman after being there, crossing the 300 run mark with 6 wickets on board, our tail did not click in that second innings. That's surely a cause of concern and something that you need to build there. As we look forward into that second test starting this Friday in Perth. The Australian tail, it's not the Australian tail, any tail, especially when India is touring, has always clicked against Indian bowlers. And that's been India's undoing. If you look at that England series as well as the South Africans, it's the tail, in times of trouble, it's the tail that's whacked long, and that's troubled the Indian bowlers. In this particular series, I would say, Ashwin was bang on. The captain, the confidence that he had on Ashwin, clearly making a big difference in the way this particular test match, the Indian bowlers, the way they approach. If you look at the last time that India toured Adelaide and India played a test match there, Ashwin was on the bench. And this time around, the captain giving the new ball to him both in the first as well as in the second innings. The second over was bowled by Ashwin.
So,
and that's
let's talk about Ashwin just a little bit. He bowled 52 plus overs. I think he probably needs to share the burden. At least there may need to be an all-rounder who can bowl a bit, to take some of the overs away from him. Otherwise, there's too much pressure on him. Of course, the fast bowlers can't be bowling at that kind of, for those kind of durations. So you need to have stock bowlers also to sort of spread out the work in a sense.
Well, I totally agree. If you look at Australia, they banked heavily on Nathan Lyon to do the bulk of the bowling. Similar was to the case with India. They were looking at R. Ashwin to do the bulk of the bowling. And Ashwin is delivered there with 52 overs there, bowling non-stop from one end. And I think that's where, if you look at Australia and India, this particular test match is not lost on day 1. It's lost on day 4 when, both Cheteshwar Pujara as well as Ajinkya came out to bat there. If you look at that first 5 over phase, Tim Paine started bowling with medium paces. He didn't get Nathan Lyon immediately. And if you look at Virat's approach today, he got Ashwin pretty early on. As soon as the new ball was taken, he got Ashwin there in the middle to bowl on that 5th day. So the change of tactics, I would say, only where Tim Paine missed a trick or two was not using that spinner. Though he also bowled most of the bowling for Australia, but he didn't use him effectively there at the right time, at the right place. And if you look at day 4, where India managed to do Ajinkya Rahane and Cheteshwar Pujara playing those 4-5 overs there till they got their footing. I think 15 minutes of play is all that a settled batsman needs, to get his footing there on the opening on the fourth day's play when play began. So I think that's where Tim Paine missed a trick or two. And full marks to Ashwin. You know, he is now approaching 342 wickets in Test cricket, the fastest to reach 200, 300, and also looking at 350 mark where he is just 8 wickets shy.
Now you keep talking about Ashwin, but you know I want to really focus on the quicks because they bowled at you know sort of a menacing pace. They looked really dangerous. Even Shami, though he in the first innings, you know he got wickets only at the tail, but the batsmen were, you know, lost in the way, for instance, Finch was clean bowled by Ishant in the very first over of the Australian innings. In the first innings,
well, you bang on,
I mean,
you know,
you can't see this of an Indian bowler.
See, you bang on why I stressed on R. Ashwin in the, you know, because there's always been a backlog with Ashwin that he's not clicked for India when we've toured abroad. And this time around, Ashwin did bring the goods there on the table. The pacers have always done what was needed when India has toured abroad. It is a spinner that's been a letdown for India. And Ashwin coming good automatically complemented the other bowlers there. Ishant, this is his fourth tour to Australia. So he does have some experience there. You know, he does have some experience about bowling on those Australian tracks. And Ishant got that breakthrough there, you know, as soon as he came on to bowl in that first over. And that's a big plus for the Indian team, you know, the way in which Ishant came and bowled the first spell along with Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shami didn't get the wickets, but Mohammad Shami was effective there in controlling, not letting the runs go, but also, you know, effective in troubling the batsmen, you know, keeping them searching for where their off stump was. And that's the difference, because as soon as Ashwin came on to bowl, the pacers had done the, you know, most of the work for them. They didn't let the batsmen get off to a flyer start.
So the
and
second
came
test,
and applied the pressure.
Anil, the second test is at Perth. I mean, which is known for being one of the fiery pitches of the world. So that's where the fast bowlers will enjoy themselves. But you know, looking at the batting, especially the opening slot, and with Prithvi Shaw probably back in action, who do you think is going to be replaced?
Well, I would clearly say that, you know, we played the opening test, we've got a winning combination. It's better not to tamper with the opening combination. With the winning combination in this particular test match. Yes, Prithvi Shaw is clearly waiting there in the wings, you know, to make a comeback into test cricket. We got to give KL Rahul another opportunity there to come and see whether he can deliver there at that big stage on the Australian tracks. Remember, Australian batting is also not that great with Steve Smith and David Warner missing. This was an Australian side where, you know, a player like Mike Hussey, who had got 10,000 first-class runs, still waiting to make his debut playing for Australia. And you look at Australia, that's totally different there, you know, who are looking for batsmen to come and deliver for them. So Australia are not on a very comfortable footing. It's their tail that's clicked for them, but they too have worries there at the top order. So Australia do have some concerns. I would still believe that Ravi Shastri and Virat need to look at not tampering with the winning combination from this test match. Give everybody a chance into test 2, and if then you have 4 innings that the batsmen or the bowlers have played.
And the batsmen, do you think that they would need, a final question, need to adjust some sort of batting, at least their technique a bit for this fast and bouncy pitch, which is going to be Perth? Because, you know, many of them have got out to the speeding ball coming up. In fact, the adjustment that Cheteshwar Pujara made for this test match has made him score those runs. Otherwise, he was a bunny for the ball that was rising in the past. Perfectly.
If you look at day 1, the 4 wickets that we lost before 50 was put on the board, all 4 batsmen were searching for their off stump or did play some rash shots there. You know, the bowlers kept them, the Australian pacers kept them guessing where their off stump was. Look at Ajinkya Rahane's innings, batting in the first innings and his knock in the second. In the second, he did look comfortable on where his off stump was. And the way in which Australian bowlers, you know, lost a trick or two, you got to give full credit to Cheteshwar Pujara. He actually, you know, he kept that. He was patient enough to, you know, wait for those loose balls to score those runs. And the batsmen and the bowlers were not having the patience to, you know, wait for the Indian batsman to make the mistake.
Yes.
And Cheteshwar is known for playing, you know, long innings there. Absolutely. He's got, his concentration is very similar to what many say. Many say that he's Rahul Dravid's replacement in Indian Test cricket.
He's the new wall of Test cricket, and not the new. I mean, he's been around for a long time, so he is the wall.
But he's delivered for.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much, Anil Thomas, for being with us. Let's take a short break. In fact, we won't stop taking that break because of a technical problem. In fact, I'm told we're just about to take that break. It's just about to come now. Here's the break.
ये दवाएं जल्दी प्लीज जल्दी कीजिए।
तुमने बिल तो लिया ही नहीं।
अरे जल्दी में हूँ ना।
पक्के बिल के बगैर सामान के घटिया या नकली पाए जाने पर ना तो उसे बदल पाएंगे, न ही किसी तरह की कानूनी क्षतिपूर्ति ही मिलेगी। दवाएं और खाने पीने की चीजें नकली होने से तो जिंदगी भी खतरे में पड़ सकती है।
सही बात है, आप बिल दीजिए।
जब भी पैसे दें पक्का बिल हाथों हाथ लें।
अरे रात से मुन्नी को बहुत तेज बुखार है, डॉक्टर को दिखाने क्लिनिक जा रहे हैं।
तो सरकारी अस्पताल लेके जाना, वहाँ 1 साल तक बच्चे का इलाज मुफ्त होता है।
जननी शिशु सुरक्षा कार्यक्रम में माँ के लिए गर्भावस्था और डिलीवरी से जुड़ी जांच और इलाज और बच्चे के लिए 1 साल की उम्र तक जांच और इलाज की सुविधाएं पूरी तरह मुफ्त। दवा, जांच, आना जाना, नॉर्मल या ऑपरेशन वाली डिलीवरी, उस वक्त अस्पताल में रहना, खाना और 1 साल तक के शिशु का इलाज भी। तो आज ही अपने नजदीकी सरकारी अस्पताल से संपर्क करें।
नमस्कार नमस्कार नमस्कार। क्या भैया?
सेप्टिक टैंक शौचालय के लिए।
सेप्टिक टैंक, ये जब भर जाएगा तो कचरा कहाँ फेंकोगे? फिर से लोटा यात्रा शुरू। सुनिए, 2 गड्ढों वाले शौचालय के बारे में सुना है? नहीं सुना? आइए समझाते हैं। देखिए, 2 गड्ढा बनाइए। पहले वाला जब मल से भर जाएगा ना तो ये चालू हो जाएगा और साल भर के अंदर इसके अंदर जो मल है ये खाद बन जाएगा, इसे खाली कर दीजिए। इसी तरह शौचालय जो है वो आजीवन चलता रहे, न बीमारी फैलेगी न बदबू।
और पैसे?
अरे वो सेप्टिक टैंक से कई गुना सस्ता। हाँ, क्या समझे?
शौचालय 2 गड्ढों वाला ही बनवाना है
और स्वच्छता को सदा अपनाना है।
धीरे धीरे सब जान गए हैं कि हम जैसे बिना MRP, वजन और यूज बाय डेट लिखे हुए पैकेट गलत हैं।
हाँ, तभी तो कोई हमें अपने साथ नहीं ले जाना चाहता है।
उम्मीद मत छोड़ो पैकेट भाई, कोई तो होगा ही जिसे दुकानदार चाचा बेवकूफ बना लेंगे।
सही पैक पर वस्तु की कीमत, वजन, निर्माता कंपनी का नाम तथा इस्तेमाल की तारीख जरूरी है। आप बताइए, आप जानने वालों में से हैं या बेवकूफ बनने वालों में से? जागो ग्राहक जागो।
नमस्कार नमस्कार नमस्कार। क्या भैया?
सेप्टिक टैंक शौचालय के लिए।
सेप्टिक टैंक, ये जब भर जाएगा तो कचरा कहाँ फेंकोगे? फिर से लोटा यात्रा शुरू। सुनिए, 2 गड्ढों वाले शौचालय के बारे में सुना है? नहीं सुना? आइए समझाते हैं। देखिए, 2 गड्ढा बनाइए। पहले वाला जब मल से भर जाएगा ना तो ये चालू हो जाएगा और साल भर के अंदर इसके अंदर जो मल है ये खाद बन जाएगा, इसे खाली कर दीजिए। इसी तरह शौचालय जो है वो आजीवन चलता रहे, न बीमारी फैलेगी न बदबू।
और पैसे?
अरे वो सेप्टिक टैंक से कई गुना सस्ता। हाँ, क्या समझे?
शौचालय 2 गड्ढों वाला ही बनवाना है
और स्वच्छता को सदा अपनाना है।
Welcome back. Slipping away from sports news for the moment, there's a big breaking story that's coming in from the Westminster Magistrates Court in the UK, in London. Well, Vijay Mallya has been ordered to be extradited back to India, and this comes as a big boost for the Modi government. Let's get the details from our correspondent Amrit Pal, who is joining us. Amrit Pal Singh is with us with the details. Amrit, what has the court said?
The Westminster Magistrates Court in London, his lawyers were present and the court heard them. Vijay Mallya is wanted in India on charges of fraud and money laundering, amounting to about 9,000 crores, of which he has to pay back to the banks. The UK court today decided and ruled that he can be extradited to India to face the charges of fraud in India, of money laundering in India. Now the position as of now is that Vijay Mallya now has 14 days to appeal against the verdict. The verdict it will now be referred to the Home Department of UK. So the Secretary of State will decide there against this appeal. He has 14 days. But right now the London court has ruled that this trial, which opened on the December 4th last year, almost been a year. There is the court has agreed that there is a clear case, prima facie case of fraud against Vijay Mallya, and there are no bars to his extradition, and the business tycoon can be extradited back to India. The CBI had assured the court that a fair trial will be conducted in India, and for the default of 9,000 crores in loans from a consortium of Indian banks that he had taken. If you remember, Mark, in separate legal proceedings, Vijay Mallya had lost his appeal in the UK's Court of Appeal against a High Court order in favor of the 13 Indian banks to recover the funds amounting to nearly 9,000 crores. So now it is only between Vijay Mallya and the Home Department of the United Kingdom, which will now take the final call to extradite him back to India.
Right. We're also joined by Abhishek Jha with further inputs. Abhishek, the court has given him 14 days to appeal. So that process, we are not sure whether he is going to appeal or not. I mean, what's the indication like?
Okay, Mark, earlier in the day when reporters have been asking Vijay Mallya about his course of action, once the court is not giving court does give judgment not in favor of him, he has said that he will use other legal recourses that is still there. He is also at the battery of lawyers who are now who will be discussing this case and how to go about it. So I think Vijay Mallya still has not exhausted all his legal options in UK, and probably he will be using that. And in the next 14 days that he has got still with him, he will be taking any call on how to go about this legalities of his case.
Okay, they're also looking at, what the government has said, the government of India has said that, there would be a fair trial, that the CBI has also said that there would be a fair trial. Also, the fact is that Vijay Mallya back home has, he has indicated also in the past, because of the new laws in place, that a lot of his property here has already been attached by the ED. Now that is, already half the battle won in that respect, because, a lot of the property, let's say, that he owns in Bangalore, for instance, worth at least 1,000+ crores. If that is all attached, he has nowhere to go here back in India. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, Mark, Vijay Mallya has been caught in very difficult situation now. And what is the legality now, and how ED and CBI has been dealing with this case? We are also joined by Amritpal. So Amrit has been tracking this case throughout. And what are the options of in front of Vijay Mallya now, and how do you think Indian agencies are going
about it? Abhishek, there are two things here. The extradition first. The extradition, he can go and appeal to the Home Department, the Home Secretary of United Kingdom, who is equivalent to Home Minister and the Secretary of State. He has about 14 days. Finally, the Home Department will take a call on whether the final call on extradition. As he said in the day, as you were saying, that he says that my legal team will review and look at all legalities. What the court has primarily ruled here is that prima facie there is a case that the Indian banks, or the consortium of Indian banks, 13 Indian banks of whom it's defaulted 9,000 crore rupees worth of loans. There is a prima facie case on him. The court is assured by the CBI that there is the fair trial will take place in India, that the Indian courts are well equipped to take a fair trial, and Vijay Mallya should be returned back to India for a trial. So that's what the court has ruled right now.
Amit, also we have seen in recent times on social media platforms and through his legal team also, Mallya has been saying that he's ready to return the amount, especially principal. And there is also some case going on in Karnataka. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, yes, Mallya has time and again said that. In fact, last week after Christian Michel was caught, he tried to sort of make a distinction, saying that don't link me or don't compare me with Christian Michel. My case is completely different. I never stole the money. That this narrative that is being floated, as he says, by the Indian state, that he stole India's money, that is not true. Now, yes, he had said that he is ready to pay the principal amount, not the amount with the interest. That's right. So not the interest. So the banks would want it to be recovered along with interest, because he's a defaulter on that money. So Vijay Mallya is trying to sort of build, play the victim card really, and build the narrative that he was a businessman. Kingfisher took the money. Kingfisher defaulted. Vijay Mallya did not steal any money. But the fact of the matter is that it was